Boxing King Media in association with Boxer Spencer Oliver here at Box Park. Interesting show from Ben Shalom, Adam Azim fighting a guy that's 12-0, unknown, completely unknown to UK fans. They've also got Zach Chelli against Anthony Sims Jr. And then you've also got Vidal Riley fighting Anis Taj, who's very confident. So just tell me, looking through that card, which fight are you most excited about?
You know, I like all the card. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Adam Azim versus Santos Reyes, purely because I'm enjoying Adam Azim's rise. I'm enjoying his development. I think he's going to be the next superstar of British boxing. I really do, and that was cemented for me by that last performance in November against Ryland Cholton. I thought that was a fight that it was a great yardstick to see how good Adam Azim was, or where he was at what stage of his career, and the way that he won that contest, I just went, he's the real deal, this kid. And I think he's going to be a superstar. He reminded me of like a young Nazim Hamid, a young Amir Khan, where you go, you knew they was going to be special. Adam Azim has got that quality about him. You know, he's only had 7 fights and that's where he's at. Reyes is an unbeaten fighter, South American, 12-0, 3 KOs, 1 no contest, but he brings it flat-footed, fights like a South American, comes forward, throws punches in bunches. It's going to be exciting, but I think he's made for Azim, and I think Azim is going to shine again on Saturday night. I think what they're doing with Adam Azim, they had that Sunday show last time where he boxed Ryland Cholton, top of the bill, in only his 6th fight, and now he's got a Saturday night where he's topping the bill. And what I think they're doing is they're building him and developing him into what I believe is going to be a superstar, because that's where I think he's at. I think the kid is going to be tough to hold back. He's talking about winning world titles before he's 22. He's currently 20. He's talking about European titles this year even. And I think he's going to do that, you know. I think he's got the ability to do that. Talking about the rest of the card, I think the fight of the night on the card for me is Zach Chelli versus Anthony Sims. Anthony Sims is Floyd Mayweather's cousin. Not a lot of people know that, but he's Floyd Mayweather's cousin. You can see that in his movement, the way he moves around the ring, very light on his feet, but very heavy-handed. 24 fights, 23 wins. The one loss he had, he was in between splitting with trainers 4 or 5 fights ago, lost on a split decision against a good fighter, has come back well, and he's had like 20 KOs out of his 23 wins, heavy-handed. And Zach Chelli just is always pushing the boundaries, always asking for more, always wanting to step it up. It's going to be a great fight, that. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Caroline Dubois on the bill as well. Looking forward to her. You know, boxing again, great performance last time out, 60-second victory last time out against a girl that was meant to push her all the way. But Caroline Dubois is special as well, really special.
You're just talking about Sims. I'll tell you something interesting. You told me when he was having them issues with that coach during the Angulo fight, apparently his coach told him mid-fight, when he was losing the rounds, said to him, you should have signed me up as your manager as well, so I could get an extra 10%, because that was a big issue apparently leading up to that fight. Have you ever come across anything like that? Mid-rounds, your fight is losing and his trainer's like, I should have got another 10%.
Mate, boxing does not surprise me, but you know, what you hear in boxing does not surprise me, man. It's like, it's one of those sports, I think that's why we all love it so much. You know, it's one of those sports that is, it's just a big hustle, man. That's what it is. It's a big hustle. Yeah, I enjoy it, man. I love being around the sport. Just, you know, the boxing's riddled with those sort of sports, but crazy, innit? But Sims now, thankfully, he gets this opportunity again to showcase his skills. I asked Ben Shalom, actually, as he signed Sims up, he said, no, there is options there. I went, well, let me tell you, mate, Sims is the real deal. He can fight, and he'll start a favourite against Chelli. A lot of people won't remember Anthony Sims. He was boxed over here. I think Matchroom had him, didn't they, a few years ago? But yeah, it's a good one, mate. And Tyler Denny versus Brad Pauls as well. That's a great fight. Tyler Denny, seasoned, proven. Do you know what I mean? Proven, tough as old boots, tough as they come. Won the title last time out against Brad Ray. Was it Brad Ray? Yeah, and it was a great performance. Brad Pauls is unproven, but he's 16-0, 9 KOs, so it's the proven against the unproven and the unknown going into the fight. Look down the bill here, right? It's like a next-gen show, but you look down the bill and you go, some real 50-50 fights in there. I like what we're getting here on Saturday night. It's a great, you know, there's no real superstar names on the bill there, but there's some great champions of the future on there, and Adam Azim is going to be the superstar of the future, that's what I believe.
Interesting stuff, Spencer. I think that's you've set the show up nicely, and hopefully the fans tune in on Saturday night on Sky Sports, and it's free to watch as well. So I just want to speak to you initially about other news, Dazn have increased their prices. It's worth clarifying because on Twitter there's a big misconception. People were paying £9.99 a month where they could cut the subscription and they jump back in. But what they've done now is it's £19.99, so it's £20 a month. However, if you pay for the year up front, it works out about £8 something. So you're actually saving money if you pay for the year up front.
Yeah. So just trying to force people into paying for it up front, I think. But look, I understand it. I totally get it as a business model. I think that it's been no secret that Dazn have been losing money. You know, I think what Eddie Hearn's done on Dazn has been good. You know, I think all the stuff that he puts out on Dazn, the shows that he puts out, the production and everything is brilliant. But it is an app, and I think that, you know, it's a niche market. And I think by pushing the prices up like that, I understand from the business point of view why Dazn are doing it, because they're losing money. They've got to turn it around. You know, they've said that you can get Anthony Joshua on there now for free if you pay this $19.99 a month, and people are saying, well, it's like you're paying pay-per-view then. So but I understand what they're doing. They've got to make change because they're losing money. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes. You know, you speak to people and there's a lot of people obviously not happy, but they don't like change, do they? They don't like it when prices increase or whatever. And like you say, all they're doing is saying, well, if you pay a year up front, then it's not going to increase. But, you know, people don't see it like that. And be interesting to see how it goes. It's always going to be a difficult one. I think it was always difficult, if I'm totally honest. I think it was always going to be a difficult ask for it to kick off. I think the idea of it seemed brilliant, but the reality was, how many boxing fans have you got that really want to do that? A lot of them have got to watch it on their phone and whatnot. With Sky, it's very easy, isn't it? Because you flick channels and, oh, boxing's on, bam, done. Do you know what I mean? So it's slightly different, but I do understand it. I understand what they're trying to do, but I also understand from the punter's point of view that they're pissed off with it, but we'll see.
What do you think will happen? Because obviously there's a lot of tweets, people are saying I'm discontinuing my service, but it's worth, like I said, clarifying that you pay up front, you save like £22.
Some people ain't got the money to pay £100 up front though, have they? Some people live on the wire. We're living through, you know, a financial crisis at the moment. You know, that is the reality of it, and some people haven't got that money to pay up front, so hence why they're cancelling their subscription. So yeah, look, it was a very quick jump, wasn't it, from $1.99 to $7.99, from $7.99 to $9.99 to $19.99, and you know, so yeah, it's hard, you know. So I do understand what Dazn are trying to do and what they're trying to achieve, but I also understand it from the punter's point of view. So there's going to be a lot of unhappy people out there, put it that way.
Another couple of subjects I want to speak to you about. Jermaine Franklin's been picked as the opponent for Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Mixed opinions online, but I rarely give my opinion, but I think credit to AJ because I think he's picked the hardest opponent that he could have picked. Jermaine Franklin, a lot of people said he beat Dillian White. Yeah. I think Fraser Clark, both fights, said he scored it 117-113 to Jermaine Franklin, which is quite wide. Yeah. How did you have that fight, by the way?
Yeah, so it was close, mate. It was close. I thought Franklin may have just nicked it by a round. I thought he'd done enough, if I'm honest. Dillian White had a good finish to the fight, but Franklin come with no credentials and left with loads of credentials. He come as an unknown quantity and left as a fighter. You go, whoa, this guy's got to be respected. And what Anthony Joshua's done there is give him that opportunity, and so the casual fan, because not many people saw it on their own, don't know who he is and they're not accepting it. They're like, fuck, this is shit. But people that know go, it's a dangerous fight, and you got to respect that. And like Jermaine Franklin would say, this is a huge opportunity. He felt hard done by last time out, but he'll go, I'm getting Anthony Joshua at the right time, where psychologically he might not be right there, mentally he might be a little bit low. Do you know what I'm saying? He might not be. He's gone out there, he's searched for a new trainer. So he's now with a new trainer, you know. So he's going into this fight where he's coming off the defeat. He's got a new trainer. There's a lot of unknowns. He might be thinking, Joshua's the golden goose. This is the one that could catapult me to the top, and I can be getting him at his most vulnerable time. So credit for Joshua for taking Franklin, because it's a lose-lose situation for Joshua. Because if he beats Franklin, people will go, well, and what? And if he loses to Franklin, people are going to go, your career's over. So it's a tough one. It's a real tough one. I just hope that Joshua can get his head right and then mentally he goes in there strong, because I think Anthony Joshua needs to rediscover the Anthony Joshua of old. You know, the kid that fought with that rawness, that, you know, that killer instinct. That killer instinct, that fighting with your heart on your sleeve, you know. I think that's what he needs to rediscover to get back to the top. Do I think he can do it? Yeah, I do. You know, I'm one of the few that probably believes in him. Maybe that's my heart speaking, maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's my head speaking, but what I'm saying is I believe that if he can rediscover that, he can get himself back up there again. But it's not an easy journey back. It's not an easy road back. You know, they're talking about Franklin. Then they're talking about Dillian Whyte, who's his bogeyman, really. Beat him as an amateur. Give him like hell as a pro as well. Second round, he was totally gone. He fought back and won it in the 7th. And they're talking about doing it again. So it's always going to be a tricky fight, Dillian Whyte. And then he's talking about jumping straight in with your Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce even. You know, Tyson Fury, one of those sort of names. So it's going to be a tough 12 months for Joshua. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles it. Let's hope that this relationship with Derek James reinstalls that confidence that's needed.
Definitely. And the last thing I want to speak to you about, Spencer, is I read Tony Bellew. The quote was that he spoke to the Zone and he said about this whole Conor Benn situation that he feels that Conor may have some information that has everybody scared. Have you read that?
Well, only what I read from Tony saying that, yeah. But I've also heard a lot of stuff about information that they've got that we haven't seen. So the facts are still the facts, you know, like, you know, I don't like talking about it anymore because like I get shit from certain parties talking about it. I go, yeah, but you know, Conor keeps saying and his team keeps saying, well, we proved his innocence, we've got just release it, mate, done. And then he can move on with his career and that'll be good. You know, it's a shame about what happened with Conor, really, because he was a leading light in British boxing. He was the future of British boxing, you know, with a whole background, and I love him as a person. And, you know...
What do you make of the fact that the British Boxing Board initially, they were silent, they weren't saying anything, and obviously in that time while this has been ongoing, they haven't had any papers from Conor, they haven't really done anything. From what I understand, technically, he's not obliged to give him any information. That's how I understand it.
Because he decided to what's the word? Give up his licence. He decided to give up his licence, and for that reason, the British Boxing Board can't do anything. I spoke to Robert Smith about this.
But why did Robert Smith not do interviews before? Why are they doing stuff now? Why have they come out now and spoken about it?
Just for legal reasons, really. So, you know, Conor's saying that, you know, that Robert Smith's now saying to Conor, present your evidence to us. Conor's not presenting the evidence to him. So Robert Smith told me that, you know, there's talk of Conor Benn boxing, and they said, oh, Manny Pacquiao over here. Robert Smith said he won't be able to box over here on a British, like, because if he boxes on a Nevada licence, the British Boxing Board of Control, if he boxes over here, have got to sanction it. So he said, as it stands, until he proves his innocence or presents his case, there's nothing we can do.
So Robert Smith's told you that he won't sanction that fight if it happens in this country?
Well, as it currently stands, no, because they've got to get the information that's required. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the frustrating thing. You listen, Conor, if you're innocent, mate, and you've proved your innocence, let's just see it, and then we can put all this to bed. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise it's an ongoing thing, and then I know Conor Benn and his team are getting pissed off about people speaking about it, and, you know, certain parties having a go at you, saying you're taking a piss, I should be doing this, and I go, what are you going on about, mate? I'm only commenting on the facts. You keep telling me that, oh, he's proved his innocence. Well, I can only comment on the facts.
Could it be because he can't say anything publicly because he's got to wait for the WBC to make their judgment? Could it be that?
No, but what is the WBC? Just puts him back in the WBC rankings. Doesn't allow him to fight anywhere. He's still got a license to fight. So if he applies for a Nevada license, using that as an example, the Nevada license might say no because of your ongoing cases. So I think a lot of people are making a lot of stuff out of the WBC thing. That puts him back in the rankings, but that doesn't make him eligible to fight. He's got to get a licence to fight. As we speak, he hasn't got a licence. So, I don't know, mate. Let's see. Listen, he said he's proved his innocence, and I'm just intrigued to see it because we all want to see it. We want him to move on with your career, mate. That's it. If you proved your innocence, prove everyone wrong, and move on with your career. But don't keep saying it. It's like they're saying it, and if they say it enough, everyone will just believe it. Well, we need to see the evidence.
I asked Eddie Hearn about the Manny Pacquiao. I did specifically say, are you clickbaiting the name, or is there ongoing negotiations? He did say they've had a few conversations, but do you think that's the truth? Do you think anything's going on there?
Could be, but like you say, we need to know where and how that's going to go on. Is it going to be an exhibition? Could it be an exhibition in, like, say, Saudi, or because under what license do they pull it on at? Like, it's all very confusing. Why? I thought Conor wanted the best people in his division. He wants to get on with his career. Well, Like someone your own age, not my age. Do you know what I mean?
Spencer Oliver, on that note, thank you for your time, and I know you're hungry. I'll let you go and get some food.
Yeah, I'm starving, man. Cheers.